Hello and welcome back to my back deck. Today we'll be planting up some things with the possibility of frost hitting us next week. The weather forecasters keep changing the forecast and it keeps hovering down towards low 30s. I want to actually say like 35, 33, and then as high as 48, 45. So the weather keeps fluctuating, and I think it's Mother Nature trying to keep us on our toes. So there's still a chance we may get a frost, but there's a chance we may not. And that's what I'm gambling with. Well, that's what I started gambling with last week. Yes, last week when I started planting out snapdragons, and this week as I continue to do some planting out now. But first I want to talk about something I did the other day. Right here in this pot, I planted up 4 salvia clary sage, or clary sage salvia, however you want to say that. I have some clary sage out in the garden, and all it's ever done is leafed. And I've never gotten any flowers from it, and I haven't killed it quite yet, but all it's ever done is leafed. And over the winter time, I did a little homework, and I discovered that it really likes super dry soil. Super free draining, super dry soil. It's basically a desert plant, more or less. So having it planted out in the garden where the soil stays relatively moist, if not moist year round, it just doesn't perform well. It just doesn't flower. So I thought, since I'm putting plants in pots and trying to make the deck look a little more colorful and my future courtyard project as well, I thought, why not take some clary sage that I've grown from seed this year and put it into this pot. Now this pot is filled with potting soil, but I did something a little different. I took a lot of pea gravel, mixed it in with the potting soil. I took about 10 cups of sand, general purpose coarse sand, mixed it in with the potting soil. So hopefully now this is super free draining. The only thing I can think of making it more free draining is using cactus mix. But hopefully this would be free draining enough. After I planted them, I then topped it with more pea gravel to add in that extra bit of heat when the sun is out, and also just to try to get rid of more of that pea gravel that I have to get rid of for my courtyard. So we will see how this project or how this experiment goes. Like I said, there's a lot of sand and there's a lot of pea gravel all in this container. Hopefully this does the trick, and hopefully I get some flowers out of these plants this year. We will see. And let's talk about what I'm going to start planting today. As some of you longtime viewers know, I have a problem with fire ants here, being in the south. And I've tried growing potatoes in raised beds, didn't work out. In the ground, definitely didn't work out. I tried growing them to some success last year in grow bags out in the veg garden. And I say some success because I was apprehensive about overwatering my potatoes, and we had a very dry year, and the potatoes I did get were very, very small because I didn't water enough. So this year I decided to do the grow bags up here on the back deck. This way they'll get watered when I water the rest of the plants out here on the back deck. And I'm starting them now, even though we may get a frost next week, because these potatoes are going to take a little bit of time to come up. Most of these potatoes, these are Corolla that I'm planting, C-A-R-O-L-A. They're very small, as you can see, and they're going to take probably about 2 weeks to come up. And I'm just checking each potato because these are left over from last year. I'm checking for ones that don't have any rot. This one has rot, so we're not going to use that one. This one's tiny, but it should be okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm putting 3 in this one. Again, they're small seed potatoes. I try not to overcrowd the potatoes, try to give them the space, but this is a fairly large bag. And what I've done already is put down about, let's say 6 inches of potting soil on the bottom, and then I'm going to add some more potting soil on top. Now, Corolla, as with all the varieties I have today, are indeterminate, so they'll keep on growing and growing and growing. So as these stems start coming up, I can continue to add more potting mix, and theoretically, they'll just keep putting on more tubers. So I've got 3 in this bag, and I'm just going to add a little bit of more potting soil. And as I said, probably take about 2 weeks for them to start sprouting up. At that point, we should theoretically be well clear of a freeze. Worst case scenario, because this happened to me a few years ago, they do get hit with a frost, and then the top growth dies off, but then they will catch back up. They will push up new sprouts. In this next one, I'm going to do russet Burbank, and these are my potatoes from last year. So you can see they're quite small, but these are good for seed potatoes. And both of these are already starting to put on eyes, which will eventually become stems. And I'm going to plant them either end of the bag and then add more potting soil. This next one, I have a bunch of German butterball potatoes here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 in this bag. Again, I don't want to overcrowd the potatoes. If you've grown potatoes in bags before and you've planted close together or spaced apart, whatever it may be, please leave those comments below. Let me know how you grow your potatoes. Same thing in this one, I'm going to put some more German butterballs. Now these are fairly small. If these were bigger, I'm going to show you some bigger ones in a minute, but if these were bigger, I could slice them in half and then have more, and I'll show you that in a minute. Again, many of you experienced gardeners already know this, and you guys do these kind of things. Since this one's fairly wide, I think I'm going to add in 3. I may be pushing my luck, but we'll see. Now the rest of this bag I will save for another day, probably next week, when definitely that danger of frost has passed. Now in this last one, I'm going to plant up some russet Burbank potatoes, but these potatoes are quite large. So what I'm going to do, again, all of you experienced gardeners have done this before, but new gardeners, this is something that you can do, and this is something that will give you more opportunity when you're sowing potatoes. So if I sowed this one potato, what would happen is the stems would come up and it would create more potatoes or tubers off of those stems, which is great. This seed potato, as it were, eventually rots and dies. You may find it at the end of the season, it'll all be brown and stuff and black and oozy. Right now there are several eyes or stems starting to push up, but there's a couple of spots here at this other side, on the other side, that have the same thing. They're not really pushing up yet though, but what I can do is I can cut it in half, and now I'll have 2 plants essentially, basically. But before planting this, I'm gonna wanna let the cut ends dry. So I'm just gonna leave these out. They'll dry up pretty quickly, and then probably tomorrow I'll plant these right in this bag here. I'm just placing them in the bag with the cut sides up so they heal and dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the rest of these potatoes. I will probably slice them, especially like look at this one. This one's pretty long. You can see how long it is. And I can cut it here. I definitely have some eyes there, but I may wind up getting some eyes on the other side as well. This one I'm going to cut, and same thing with this one, because again, it's a very large potato. So I'll definitely cut these 2 in half, but it gives me the possibility of having 4 plants instead of just 2. Let's go plant up something more fun. Right here, next to this bench, I have 2, although you can barely see them, Queen Mum Agapanthus. Now I dug this plant up last year, and it was 1 plant, and from that 1, I got 3 extra divisions. So there was the mother plant, this one, and this one. Now these 2 went into the greenhouse over the winter time. During the winter time, the deer came and munched and pulled out of the ground several times these 2 Agapanthus. They don't like Agapanthus, but they were desperate and they were hungry, so they were looking for anything green to munch on. Unfortunately, the Agapanthus were here. These 2 look much healthier because they were in the greenhouse, sheltered and protected. And what I think I'm going to do today is plant these 2 back up over here. And this way, hopefully, with a little luck, they all flower on or about the same time, and I just have this lovely clump of white Agapanthus flowers. That's what I'm going with. And these guys also survived being snowed on and lots and lots of cold days, if not weeks. So if we do get a light frost, then I'm positive that these 2 plants that I'm planting out today will be absolutely fine. So first what we're going to do is just clear away some of this top mulch here. Now I'm going to plant them kind of close together. Pull this back a bit. No giant roots, which is good. If the can had a lot of roots, if the plant was pot bound, then I have to worry about untangling the plant, but I don't have to do that in this case. You know, I brought gloves with me so I wouldn't get stabbed by sharp pointy sticks and or fire ants. Be a good thing if I wore them. He's tucked in, and I do the other one. Have I mentioned it's a very windy day today? It's a very windy day today. I don't know if you guys can hear it on the microphone, hopefully not. This one has very good, big, thick roots. So also very good. Plant this one right here. I'm going to plant these a little, well, this one definitely is a little high, and that's okay. And I'll add a little bit more compost. And of course I will water these in, but I won't bore you with that on camera. So there we go. Two of the Queen Mum Agapanthus that I had overwintered in the greenhouse, planted back out here. Hopefully the deer don't come after them again, but since everything's in bloom and blooming and growing now, I don't think I'm going to have any more problems with the deer coming after these Agapanthus. Now all the plants that I planted today, the Agapanthus, the clary sage, and well, the potatoes can't take a frost, but the Agapanthus and clary sage can take a frost. As I mentioned before, I have clary sage somewhere in the garden, maybe behind this bench. And it has survived the winter, being buried under snow, lots of frosts and freezes, including some very big, deep freezes. The plants have survived. So if we do get a light freeze, I'm pretty confident all these plants will be okay. And the potatoes, as I mentioned before when I was planting them out, will probably take a couple of weeks before they start shooting sprouts up out of the ground. So I'm not too worried about them either, because at that point we should be well and clear of any frosts. So if you guys are planting out your potatoes or anything else out in the garden right now, if you're taking a gamble with your local area freeze, are you going to get another freeze or you're not going to get another freeze, please let me know in the comments below. I think for the next video I might do a spring garden tour, early spring garden tour. You guys let me know if you'd like to see that or not. And I think that's going to do it for today. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.